Hello everyone. For those who have been on my channel before, or welcome back to my channel. For those who are new to my channel, welcome to my channel, and I will link my first video below so you guys can see the introduction. So I am dressed like this because this video is going to be all about nursing. For those who are interested, who are striving to, or who are thinking about getting into the nursing program, I'm going to give you some tips and advice of how to get in and what to expect once you're already in. Before we begin, I blocked out the name of my school on my scrubs just because I don't want to say the name of my school nor any companies that is associated with my school. Just personal reasons and because I just don't want to get in trouble if anything. So yeah, I'm going to divide this video into two parts. The first part is going to be on how to get into the nursing program. The second part is going to be on what to expect once you're already in the program. And let's get started. So on this side I have my laptop with the outline of all the pointers that I want to discuss in this video. So the first part, like I said, is going to be on how to get in the nursing program. Now when you get in the nursing program, a lot of programs do require prereqs specifically for nursing. For me personally, I decided to get my general education degree first, and just to have that as like a backup, because there were some point in times where I didn't know for sure if I wanted to go into nursing. So I have that as a backup and I could jump into something else after later on in life if I ever decide to do so. Now for the prereqs to get into the nursing program, it's for sure anatomy. You have to take science classes, especially anatomy 1 and 2 with the labs. My advice to you about science anatomy classes, I strongly suggest to pass them the first time around. I know some programs, they're changing the way they do admissions. At least in my school, they're changing. Let's say for instance you take an anatomy course or a science course and you fail the first time, you are able to take it again, and if you get a better grade, they'll just take that grade. However, they're changing that, so they're not allowing it anymore. Starting next year, if you fail the first time, that's it. They want students who pass the first time around. So study hard, don't procrastinate, study hard and pass them the first time around. Second thing is GPA. I'm not sure, I know every school has a different requirement for GPA. My advice to you is try to aim for a higher GPA than the requirement. Reasons being, your GPA will drop once we get to the nursing program. Like there's no if, and, or buts about it. Your GPA will fluctuate because nursing is hard. The program is hard. You won't get, I'm not saying you won't get, it's not impossible, but it's not likely that you will ace every single class. So let's be real. A lot of people just aim to pass, and passing is the C. So your GPA will drop. Mine has been fluctuating since I began. I'm in my 4th semester, so yeah. Just give yourself some comfort room so that when it does drop, you know. Second thing is for your BSN. Now in my program, they offer your associates first. You take your NCLEX to get your RN license, and then you could go back. It's optional to get your bachelor's. My advice to you is go ahead and just get your bachelor's, but if you don't want to, that's fine. For those who do, I would strongly suggest getting those prereqs out of the way, because there's certain courses you don't need for the associates, but you do need it for your bachelor's later on. Now, if you take them ahead of time, you have that out of the way, but if you don't have them, then you have to take a break in between your associates and your bachelor's, and you have to go ahead and take those credits and then go apply. So might as well just get them out of the way. I went to an advisor and I talked to them, and they created an educational plan for me where I can put those BSN requirements and take them for my gen ed, and they counted towards electives. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. So go ahead and do that. Go to your advisor and have them help you create a plan so that you have all your courses set out and planned, so when it's time to sign up for classes, you have that paper with you. Now, you have to take an entrance exam. A lot of schools have different entrance exams. I would suggest study hard for those exams. Buy the book. There's books to study for those exams. Don't freak out, and don't feel discouraged if you fail a couple times or the first time, whatever. I had to take the exam twice. It cost $65 each time. I forgot how many sections it was. I think it was like 5 or 6 sections. I failed 1 section, so I had to retake the test, and I had to repay even if I took that 1 section. If you do fail, I know some people that failed a couple times, don't feel discouraged, just study harder and pass it the second time around. It happens, it's life. Now for application, I strongly suggest turning it in ASAP. Find out when the window is to get the application, to turn it in, and the deadline to turn it in. Always try to aim to turn it in that first month, because I know they give like a couple months in between. Aim to turn it in that first month, because that does count a lot. Definitely turn it in early, because you don't want to be on the waiting list, and yeah, just turn it in early. That counts a lot. So again, science and anatomy courses passing the first time around. GPA, get a little comfort room. Take your BSN courses with your Gen Ed if you can, as electives, and entrance exams, study hard for it. Don't feel discouraged if you fail the first time, and turn your application ASAP. Now, the second part of this video is what to expect once you're already in the program. I'm going to tell you guys about my personal experience in my school. Okay, so there's the application process to first get into the program. After I got in the program, I had to do a whole bunch of different stuff. It included drug screening. Now, for those of you who smoke every single day, I suggest once you turn in your application to get into the program, that should be your last day you smoke, if you're a smoker or if you're doing any type of drugs, and you need to detox. Now, my program, they allowed me to pick the date and the location as to where I wanted to get drug screened. Be smart about it. Don't schedule it around the time that you did drugs, because it will pop up. And also try to avoid people who smoke around you, because secondhand smoke, it does sometimes come up as positive on your drug screening, even if you didn't literally like physically smoke it or intake the drug. So be careful. Smoking, just stay away from those people. This is before and once you get into the program. Don't do it. Like, you spend so much money already, like, for the application and to get in, and you invested all your time in classes. Don't get caught. Don't do it in the program. Like, even on break, just don't do it, because you signed a paper to give the school a right to drug screen you. They want. So just don't be stupid. Next is criminal background. They do a background check. They do fingerprinting. But just don't do anything stupid. Don't get caught, because they will kick you out. And if anything pops up, they just won't accept you. I don't know if every school has this. I know my school, they have this online thing where you have to turn in all your receipts for your drug screening, your background check, all your titers, all your vaccinations, and all that stuff. They keep it in, and that's for clinicals, because every hospital, they look at that, and if you're compliant, then you can go in. But all I could say about that is just set up notifications on your phone so that you're up to date and you're attentive of what you need to turn in. Expenses next. Uniforms first and foremost. I would suggest buying multiple uniforms. Uniforms can get expensive. My school, they require us to get the scrub tops with the school's name on it, and they allowed us to get the uniform bottom somewhere else. However, it did have to match the scrub tops. The reasons why I say get a couple uniforms, because you're going to be so busy studying, and you're going to be in clinicals and all that stuff, and you're going to be skipping laundry days. So it's best to have several uniforms in your closet so that you could just put it on and go, and not worry if they're dirty or not, or having to do laundry frequently. So yeah, just buy multiple uniforms, invest in them. Like, you're gonna be in the program for about 1.5 years or 2 years, depending on your program. Next, the only thing I do recommend buying good quality, obviously aside from uniforms, is your nursing instruments, such as a stethoscope. Mine is MDF. I got black on black. I forgot how much it was, but I recommend getting MDF or Littman. Don't buy those basic stethoscopes that are super cheap that have like the 2 tubing. No, because you can honestly use this after you graduate. The 2 tubing ones, you can't hear anything. Depending on your program and what they let you buy. I know mine, they don't allow electronic or cardiac ones, or I'm not sure if I need to get neonatal, but anyways, get a good stethoscope, because you can use it later on, because you're going to be using it a lot to do physicals and all that stuff. Get good scissors, get good goggles, just get good quality instruments, because you're going to be using it a lot. And professors get really mad when you come unprepared or something breaks or whatever, because you need to be professional as from now. Next is textbooks. Buy, use, or rent textbooks. I rent mainly from Chegg or Amazon. Sometimes I buy them. For a lot of books, you probably don't have to use the next semester, but there are some that you do. So what Chegg does is, if you rent them, they give you the option to just buy the book out, and I think you pay the difference, or you pay some type of fee, and it's yours. However, I didn't buy any textbooks like from the start, because it's very expensive. So find affordable ones, and especially if you have someone that's in the program ahead of you or who has already graduated, buy from them, because I'm pretty sure they can use the money back. And if your college or any places price match, go ahead and try to figure that out too, because that honestly helps a lot. So that's pretty much it for materialistic things, I guess. So now we're gonna go into something more internal. Nursing is very time consuming. Like, you will be, if you're not busy studying, you're busy doing lab hours. If you're not busy doing lab hours, you're doing projects, whatever it is. Like, it is very time consuming. My advice is to create a study schedule. I cannot stress that enough. For people who don't know how to study or where to start when you study, I have that little long board right there. That's my study schedule, and it goes by day, whatever, and I just set up a time. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna create a whole other video, so I'm not gonna get into that, but lab hours, like I said, you're gonna have to do lab hours to learn skills depending on the rotation that you're in. You will learn more about that once you're in the program. And there should be no downtime. I cannot stress that enough. There should never be downtime. If you have a trip coming up or if you have a family event, take your notes or your textbook with you and study. Who cares what they say? You made a decision to get into a profession that is going to require 110% of your time and your focus and all that stuff. So there should never be downtime. Take your stuff with you. Trust me, I take my book to the gym. I'll read on the treadmill or I'll read on the Stairmaster, whatever. People look at me crazy, but I don't give a flying flipper noodles. There should never be downtime. Like, always take a piece of something to study. Like, when you're at the restaurant and you're waiting for your food, go ahead and go through note cards. Tell your parents or whoever you're with to go ahead and test you, because that's how you engrave stuff in your brain. Like, I'm not saying study 24/7, no, that's unhealthy, but always have something in your bag or in your car or whatever, and just take it with you, because trust me, done it, it helps. Yeah. Next, work hours. I've had a lot of people who ask me, do you suggest working when you're in a program? No, I do not suggest working when you're in a program. However, if you do have to work, it is possible to do it. I have a friend who works part-time. She works a couple days a week. I'm not sure how many hours, but I know it's not 40. It's like way less than that. If you do have to work part-time, max 15. That's what a lot of professors do recommend if you do have to work. If you have to work full-time, it is also possible. I have a lot of moms in my class who have to work because their spouses just don't make enough to take care of the family, and that's perfectly fine. Like, it's life. You had a life before the program. You have to continue that. It's possible. You just have, like I said, if you create your study schedule and if you structure everything like around nursing, it will work out for you. You have to be organized, you have to be determined, and you have to just work hard as hell. But it is possible to balance, and I will get back to the balance later. Next is anxiety and stress. You will get anxiety and stress. My anxiety right now, from 1 to 10, 10 being the most anxious, I'm probably like at a solid 5. It was like a 6, 7 yesterday, and now it dropped down to like a 5 because I'm kind of calm today. But today I have so much to do. I have to go to campus. I don't have class, but I do have to find out some results. And by the time you guys see this is actually, I'm actually filming this on Friday. You'll see this on Sunday. But yeah, my anxiety probably will come back up in an hour or two. But you will get stressed out and you will get very anxious. My number one advice is find an outlet. An outlet as in whether it be listening to music, going to the gym, cleaning, cooking, hanging around certain people, reading, writing, it doesn't matter. Find an outlet and let out that stress and anxiety. Your body is going to go through a lot. Mentally, emotionally, physically, all aspects, your body's going to go through a lot, and your body can only handle so much. So you will be stressed out, you will be anxious. You have to find an outlet and just let it out, because bottling it up is not going to work, and you're just going to explode, and possibly it can be fatal. I'm being real. Like, there's been times where I had a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of anxiety, and like panic attacks because I just let it bottle up, and it's not good. So find an outlet and let it out. In the program, it's very hard to just breeze through. There's no such thing as breathing through. You just keep pushing forward. Next, back to balance, personal life. You may have a significant other going into the program. You may find someone in the program. You may have kids. You may have someone that you have home to take care of. Balance is possible. One of the myths about nursing school is that you have no personal life. Yes, you do have a personal life. It's just up to you as to how you balance yourself. I know my group of friends, like, our goal after we pass an exam is to go out that same weekend. Once you have a little mini celebration, boom, next day, go back to work. But it is possible to balance a relationship. It is possible to take care of kids, because I see people do it. I've heard so many testimonies that they had this going on. Like, I remember when I first started my program, Literally the weekend before, my mom was admitted to the hospital. Every single weekend, literally every single Friday, my mom had to go to the hospital. She has a condition, I'm not gonna get into that, but she had a condition where she had to be admitted to the hospital every single weekend for about 3 or 4 months straight. It was the most stressful, the most emotional time. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. It was so hard because I couldn't really be there for her because I had school, I had exams, and she always told me, don't worry about me, focus in school. And it's so hard to hear those words because it's my mom, yo. So we had to create a schedule where my dad would take her and then I would see her after school because that's my mom. But everything is possible, and look, I made it this far. She's doing great, thank the Lord. Just find that support system. Pick and choose who you want around you because people will come and go. You will lose relationships. It's just, one, is the way of life, and two, you're going to be so time consumed that there's a lot of people that's not going to understand why or whatever. Your support system is going to be people who understand your schedule and who won't get mad if you can't see them or if you can't attend a certain family event. Keep those people close because they will keep you in your journey and they will keep pushing you forward. So definitely find a support system. Next is loss of sleep. You ain't gonna have sleep. What is sleep? You're gonna lose sleep because of stress for exams. You're gonna be studying. But what I do recommend, listen to your body. If you find yourself falling asleep on your textbook, listen to your body and close the book and go to sleep. Tomorrow's a new day. Sleep is very crucial. I hate when people say, oh, I don't need sleep, I'll sleep when I die. No. When you sleep, that's when all that stuff that you studied is storing in your brain, so you need sleep. I'm not saying get a whole 10 hours of sleep because there is no such thing as 10 hours of sleep in nursing. Honey, it ain't gonna happen. That's gonna happen once after you graduate and once after you pass your NCLEX. So just listen to your body. Next, it's going to be physically, mentally, and emotionally draining. You will gain weight most likely. You will develop negative attitudes on certain days because you're going to be so tired. Like I said, as long as you create a schedule and you include the gym and you buy healthy snacks, you don't have to worry about gaining weight. I know in our first semester, a lot of us in our group gained a couple pounds, but we ended up losing them after a while because, again, you adapt to it and you learn from it and you create better schedules and blah 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 blah. But negative attitude, that's gonna jump into the next one. You have to self-motivate yourself. Find a way. Like I said, if you find an outlet, you'll be perfectly fine, but there's only so much that other people can tell you to like motivate you, but at the end of the day, it's all about you, and you have to self-motivate yourself every single day because you will feel discouraged and you will have anxiety and you will have stress. But like I said, channel your outlet, go with it, and you'll be fine. Don't quit because nursing is a beautiful profession. I'm only in my 4th semester, but honestly, after all my experience in clinicals and interacting with patients and talking to nurses, like, it's a beautiful thing. And again, like, it's a privilege to get accepted. So next will be about clinicals. My advice to you for clinicals is be on your P's and Q's at all times. Don't look not busy, like always look busy. You will go from 5 clinical hours at the hospital to 10 to 12. But currently I'm at 12 hours, so I will be doing a whole nursing shift pretty much in my clinicals. Clinicals usually start from 6:30 and end like at 7 or 6:30, from 6:30 to 6:30. Buy comfy shoes, bring healthy snacks if you have to. Like, I know some people buy fanny packs and they put it in, depends on your college, obviously. Personal safety with patients. There's patients who are sick. You're taking care of actual people. It's not a mannequin. People are going to be out of it because of medication and stuff like that, so always be careful. I know my school, they don't allow necklaces on clinical days or like hoop earrings in general, so just be careful on what you wear because patients can cling on it and yank it and you can get hurt. So always be aware of your surroundings. Patient safety is number 1, but your safety is also important. Also, always compose yourself. Again, your professors are going to talk to you about it once you're in clinicals. Rules of the program: a lot of schools don't allow acrylic nails, fake eyelashes, artificial anything. So if you're the type of girl that like, honey, I can't do that, like I need my eyelashes, I need my nails, then the nursing program most likely is not for you. But those are the requirements. Just follow the rules. Don't be stupid. Like, just sacrifice for a couple months because it'll benefit in the long run. And last but not least, schedule changes. Always have a flexible schedule. That's why I do not recommend working, because last minute they can change your schedule and you're gonna have to abide by it whether you like it or not. So yeah, always have a flexible schedule because The nursing program, they really don't care whether you're available or not. Like, you have to make yourself available if you want to continue on or pass the class. Perfect example, the week before my rotation started, my professor, or the original professor, resigned, and we ended up having to go to a different campus, and that was a whole mess. My clinical professor changed, my clinical hospital changed, and I had to become available. I had to accept the changes that they made, because it was either that or quit the class and re-sign up for when the class was next available, and possibly can go through the same thing or even worse. So I was like, you know what, it is what it is. Do what you gotta do. As much as you argue, it is what it is, and they're gonna say the same thing. So have a flexible schedule. Don't be surprised when they change your schedule last minute. Don't be surprised when things change. Everything is subject to change, and things change last minute. That's all I can say. And it's very frustrating, but that's just how the program works. That's gonna pretty much conclude this video. I hope it helps those who are thinking about going to the nursing program. Now you can ask yourself if this is really for you. Again, it's very time consuming. It's gonna be stressful. You're gonna be anxious. It's just a lot. You're gonna go through a lot. So really think about going in, because you're going to invest a lot of time and a lot of money in it, but it's gonna be so worth it in the end, in the long run. And just make sure you have a passion for it, because if you don't, you're not gonna be motivated to keep going, and it's just gonna be no point. Again, if you have any questions, I will link my social media below. Other than that, hope you guys like this video, subscribe and like. And any questions, just go ahead and message me and I'll be happy to answer them.